we want you to find a way to not need the manifestation right now. Because if you need it to be right now, if you say, I just can't stand it another minute, I've been wanting it for so long and it must come to me now. Since it's not going to, then your awareness of it not coming is going to play a big part in your vibration. Now you can reach the place, many of you already are, where you have such knowing, such faith and trust in the existence of this vibrational reality, that you're satisfied knowing that it exists. And because you're satisfied, there's no resistance in your vibration. And now these vibrations begin turning to thoughts, and boy, are those thoughts satisfying. Thrilling, really. You get an idea that just knocks your socks off. And you know it's a good one. You felt it when it landed. And if that thought is satisfying, then that means there's still no resistance going on within you, which means your desire is going to gather momentum. And as it gathers momentum, a thought will turn to another thought, will turn to another thought, will turn to another thought, until your next manifestation will be an impulse. An impulse. You won't be able to stop yourself. So as these thoughts are turning to things, your ability to perceive them gets more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And what we really want you to hear from this conversation is the deliciousness of this thought turning to thing, and you're satisfied. And then law of attraction brings more, and you're more satisfied. And then law of attraction brings more. Now it still hasn't manifested. Hear what we mean? It still hasn't manifested, but because you're getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, you're satisfied all along the way. And friends, we want you to understand that this really is what living happily ever after means. Don't need it to have manifested in order to be satisfied. Hear how important that is. And once you get that, once you just get a little bit of that, and you can hold yourself there just for a little while, then what happens? The momentum grows, and now a thought even more satisfying comes, and now you're off and running. And then a thought even more satisfying comes, and then that impulse. And once the impulse comes, and the impulse is strong, so you don't question it, you don't resist it, you don't wonder about it, you don't kill it with your doubt. You follow the impulse, and you get a payoff from the impulse, a rendezvous that is meaningful, a piece to the puzzle of your unfolding that you're looking for. Ooh, it is so fun. And here's another thing that we so want you to know, because we know it so clearly. And part of it is because we have the advantage of seeing what's in your vortex and understanding what it's culminated to. Your inner being, that's us, knows where you stand in vibrational relationship to everything you want. And further, your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is to it, which means your inner being knows what your desires are and how they are unfolding. Hear this, you're really going to like it. And your inner being knows what beliefs you hold that are hindering to this desire. So, when you're in the receiving mode, your thoughts will come in a way that literally guides you around your trouble spots. You'll find yourself, once you get in this flow of unfolding, you'll be thinking fewer and fewer thoughts about those things that used to be a hindrance to you. How do you make that switch? How do you get into this mode where these pure thoughts, these non-resisted thoughts, these desires that are not contradicted by doubt, how do you get to that place? Well, there are some ways. When you wake up, you're more likely to be there. Making lists of positive aspects then would keep you there. Appreciating is a surefire way to be there. But the best way we know of is to, every day if you can, and you can, every day if you can, and you can. Every day if you could, if you would, and you can. Every day if you could and would, and you can. If you would find 15 or 20 minutes to sit quietly by yourself, to quiet your mind. And we'll talk a little bit later, if you're interested, and you will be, about how meditation happens, how easy it is to accomplish. But if you can quiet your mind, which means you stop thought, and when you stop thought, you stop resistant thought. And when you stop resistant thought, your vibration raises so that now you're in that receptive mode so that you can begin to receive these high-flying knowings that your inner being is holding for you. Then, once you get hold of one of those, and you acknowledge the satisfying feeling of it, now you're off and running. It only takes 17, 16, 17, 16, 17, 16, closer to 16 than 17 seconds for law of attraction to respond to a vibrational output by you. So if you find a thought that feels sort of kind of good, another thought will join it quickly. If you can find no thought, then the thought of your inner mind, the thought of your inner being, will be what sets the tone of what law of attraction brings to you next. So, you know how you know that you've got off on this really good foot? Let's say you're in meditation. Do you ever meditate? Let's say you're in meditation, you've been there for 15 or 20 minutes, your mind sort of wandered all over the place because you've got all of these things that you need to do, that you should do, all of those things that we were talking about. Your to-do list is running through your mind. The argument you had last night or yesterday, you're feeling a little defensive. So it takes a little while for you to talk yourself out of that by focusing on something that's not very important, like the ticking of a clock. Esther just bought a really good, loud ticking clock. She just loves listening to that thing. Not interesting at all, but it is loud. So find something to focus on, and as you focus upon that, whatever it is that requires thought but doesn't let your mind go too far, it won't take long before you'll feel a detachment. You'll feel maybe weightless. Maybe you can't tell your nose from your toe. A sort of detached state of being. And when that happens, you're in that state of non-resistance. And as you stay there for a minute or 2 or 3, it might take you 11, 12, 13 minutes to get there. You might not get there the first day. You might have to sit the next day for 15 minutes and then the next day for 15 minutes. But it is our promise to you that if you will sit and focus upon something not very meaningful, like the sound of the air conditioner or the dripping of a faucet or the ticking of a clock or something, it's better if your eyes are closed, then you will feel that detachment. And once you do, just bask in the no thought. Don't even think about it if you can help it. Don't say, oh, I'm detached, because then you won't be. Just softly enjoy the feeling of detachment. You might even begin to feel some movement. You might even begin to feel your inner being's guidance about your body. Something in your body might move. You might find some soft, gentle movement. And just allow it. And try not to get too excited about it. But then, something really wonderful will happen. A thought will come right out of the vortex and into your mind. And it will be such a good feeling thought, you'll know where it came from. And as you now have a sort of more deliberate awareness inside your meditation, as you ponder that thought for as little as 16 seconds, another thought like it will join it, and you will feel the emotional satisfaction of the progression of your reception of the thought. Now, what's happening? Vibrations are turning to thoughts. And a thought manifested in your mind, you received it. And once you received it, if you can stay there for another 16 seconds and then another, once you cross that 68-second mark, now you are in the full state of receiving. And often, about then, you just can't sit there anymore. There's something that you feel an impulse to do. It might be go buy furniture. It might be call someone. But it will for sure be, if it happened the way we just described to you, it will be a path with no resistance on it. Because remember, your inner being knows where everything you want is and knows the best path to get you there. If you try to go directly to the action that you think is required to get you something that you want, and you have thoughts of resistance about that, as soon as you start making the action or making the moves to go there, you'll lose your connection. You'll lose your leverage to this source energy that creates worlds. If you try to get there too fast and you jump into action too fast, there will be resistance all over the place, and then you'll just be banging it out like you have been, and you will lose the leverage that you could have had you allowed it to be inspired action. There's such a difference in that motivated action where I said I would go and I need to go and this is my goal and this is my timing and I'm just going to do it and I'm going to make it happen and I'm going to throw enough mud on the wall and some of it will stick, and it's so exhausting. And while you can keep that pace up for a little while, it isn't sustaining because you have not returned to the replenishing mode. That's what the receptive mode is. It's the replenishing mode. It's where you keep being fed by source with ideas and energy and vitality and knowing, you see. You cannot get to where you want to be in only an action-oriented way. You've got to enlist the knowledge of your inner being, the energy of this source energy. You have to get up to vibrational speed with who you really are. And when you're in the receiving mode, so many things that are in your vortex will begin to show up. Some moments will be full. They'll be laden with 3 or 4 or 5 or 20 or maybe even more simultaneous things that are satisfying, all happening at the same time. Can you imagine that? Can you sense that coming for you? And so this is our best sales job ever of why you might want to meditate. We've been teaching for a long time through this format, and we've said to you many times that we teach meditation because it's easier to teach you to have no thought than to have pure positive thought, because you got momentum on so many things. It's not wrong that you have momentum. It's normal that you would have momentum because you've been responding to what's going on. Life will keep coming at you because of your point of attraction that you've been practicing. And you're not going to stop that point of attraction all at once. You're going to work the bugs out of it a little bit at a time. Or you could have a lobotomy, but that's way harder. That's way, way, way harder. We don't recommend that at all. In some cases. But mostly meditation is a much better plan. So now you know everything that's really important. You understand that your source energy in a physical body, and that here you are sifting and sorting and coming to conclusions and growing the universe. Do you know that this combination of beings has never been before unto all of the universe? And today, together, we will take thought beyond what it has ever been before. And you might not feel ready for that because that's a doubtful thought that you've been carrying around. You might feel like you're new or like you really don't understand this, but you have all of the tools. You were born with them that you need. And when you walk out of this room, everything that you need to know how to deliberately create, to be or do or have anything that you want, you will fully understand. It is not difficult. It just requires being willing to start at a place where your true momentum can grow to the inspiration that you really love when it comes. Wouldn't you rather feel true enthusiasm for something than determination? Wouldn't you rather feel passion for something than conviction? Wouldn't you rather feel absolute love and appreciation than I need to do this because it's been assigned to me? Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about? We're eager to talk with you about anything. Nothing is off limits. We will find the perfect representative in this room to talk about what's important to you. So, don't worry. Whatever it is that's on your mind, we're going to find it and we're going to discuss it. So, a soft desire, not only in this room, but throughout life, will serve you best. If you feel an urgency, you're working against yourself and we can't see you. If you have a desire and a soft expectation, then you light up in a very strong way and our conversation will be exhilarating. All right? All right.